You've selected a show from the Podcast Jukebox, a DIY podcast network.
Welcome to Queers Next Door.
With your hosts, Lee and Megan.
We take the topics you care about
and look at them through a queer as fuck lens.
Find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Queers Next Door.
And join our Patreon for as little as $1 a month for access to our mini episodes, Queer Cuts, at supportqnd.com. Cheers, queers!
Hi.
Hey.
Oh my God, we're back.
Welcome back.
It's been a long time.
It has. We just confirmed that the last time we recorded was the end of April, and today is July 8th. So, woohoo. Megan, what have you been doing to take care of yourself?
Swimming. And that's all I got.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I love swimming.
It's been fun. It's nice to have a pool, and it's been so hot. It's been 90, but because of the humidity, it feels like 100.
Yup.
So it's been really nice that we have a pool. And I've been tanning a lot, which is fun and reminded me of a story I think I might have already mentioned on the podcast like way back. But when I was younger, I was always at the beach, and then I would cry at home and tell my mom I didn't want to be brown because I was raised a lot by my white side of the family that's very fair with blue eyes. And so my mom bought me a Selena poster and said, like, look how beautiful brown is, and put it on my wall.
Okay, that's a lot. I love that so much.
And now I love my brown skin.
What a sweet response to that.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. So what have you been doing to take care of yourself?
Okay. So I am not going to go way into it, but I am dealing with some insane bullshit right now from my ex-husband. So what I will say that I've been doing to take care of myself is a combination of like protecting my energy as best as I can.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to him and other people who, are committed to not understanding me or respecting me. The other thing I'm doing that I think is maybe slightly different is I'm naming his abuse for what it is. Because I was in an abusive relationship for a very long time. And I think because of a lot of reasons, including the fact that some of my behavior in that relationship was also abusive. Mm-hmm. I don't make excuses for him, but I have, tried to like go along to get along, especially because we raise a child together. Mm-hmm. And there's a place for that. And I do what I need to, but like, I'm just naming like a lot of this behavior as abuse. And I'm acknowledging that like, I'm having a trauma response after years of abuse. And so, if you're someone in a similar situation, if you're in the situation at the moment, like there's help out there, please reach out. I can share I was using this for something else, so I can share the U.S. domestic violence hotline, which includes emotional abuse. Also, it's okay if it comes back. I've been away from this guy for 7 years, but sometimes this shit still shows up.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'm sorry you're dealing with that. That's okay. Terrible.
I know it's not great, but the other thing that we're going to do to get started today is just to give a little life update. We are still doing our mini episodes, Queer Cuts, which are Patreon only. So if you join our Patreon at supportqnd.com, then you can get access to all the old mini episodes and any new ones we make. We do those twice a month. At the beginning, they were audio only, and we'll probably continue to share audio clips, but they're also live streams. So you can see our pretty faces. And so, if you've been listening to those, some of these things will not be new to you, but because it's been a little while and because we talked a lot about our personal lives, we wanted to do, maybe each of us could do a little like what's been going on in the last few months.
Yeah, let's do that. And also, I just want to say, everyone, please join our Patreon. It's lots of fun. We would love more interaction on our little episodes because you can chat with us and we can answer you in real time. So if you ever wanted to join, please do. It's only $1. If you can afford more, then that's great. But we like to keep it low so that more people can join.
Yeah, we don't do like super tiered rewards. We just let anybody who pays $1 a month or more. Not only do you get access to all of our stuff, but I also send you a little goodie packet, which I really enjoy doing and is fun and has things like stickers and lube and something handmade from me. So we would love if you would do that. This is a labor of love, but it's also labor.
Yep.
Also, it's my birthday in 2 days, so if you want to wish me a happy birthday, join our Patreon.
Yes, and we can also, you'll talk about your new queer zine in maybe your update, but I was going to say...
Yeah, totally.
It's pretty awesome. So do you want to start with your update?
Sure. Well, so one of the things, like, on a, I guess, professional-ish basis is I wrote a zine with my dear friend Sarah. It is a handmade zine about it's an A to Z of queer sex, relationship, and self-care terms. And it first came out in Boy Box, which is Megan's partner's subscription box, quarterly subscription box for any queers, but especially masculine-centered queers. It's awesome, and I love it, and I've been getting it since the beginning. And so my zine, Queer Love, was included in the June box. So check out official Boy Box, BOI, if you want to get if you want to join that subscription service, because it's super rad. And the zine, if you want to purchase it and also see all of the sources and links that we used and like further reading, that is queerlovezine.com.
Yes, thank you so much for being a subscriber. I'm so glad you love it.
I really do. I love it so much. And then just the other things going on, like life things that are exciting. So my partner had her baby.
Wasn't it on May 4th?
It was on May 4th.
So the day after our last podcast came out.
Yep. Yes. So if you have already been a listener, you knew that, my girlfriend was pregnant. She has had a baby, and it's been a delight.
And she's the cutest baby ever.
She's cute in a way that, like, I am often like, you look like a cartoon. Like, she looks like a Pixar animation of a baby.
She's adorable. I
mean, I know whatever, like, all babies are wonderful, but, like, this baby is cute in a way that is stupid. She's a doll. So it's been really, I haven't been around a newborn since I had a newborn, and that was 9 years ago. So that's been probably the most, that's been the happiest and most exciting thing going on. It's also on my birthday in 2 days. It's also my year anniversary with my partner. So that's pretty exciting too.
Which I can't believe because it feels like yesterday. I mean, not really, but kind of.
It feels like we've been together forever and also like it was yesterday.
Probably because I'm on the outside, it feels like yesterday. And time, what is it anyways? But it feels like it's been moving so fast and then so slow. Hard to explain.
Yes. So yeah, I guess those are the big things for me. What has been going on with you?
I have nothing big. I am a vegetarian again.
Ooh,
I made little notes about what I want to talk about because I'm horrible with words and with remembering things. So that's just one thing I wrote. I don't know why.
Don't talk shit about my friend.
At first I was like, who? Okay. So that's been happening. And I've been a vegetarian off and on, and I was vegan for a while. And so I never stick with it, mostly just because it's easier to not be. So
Sure.
I'm proud of myself because I was out to lunch and horse racing was on. And I was like, this is upsetting me really badly. And I had like this whole crisis over it. I was like, why do I get so upset about like animals being treated badly when it's like a horse or something, but not cows and pigs and stuff that I'm eating? So I had this whole like crisis and I was like, I can't eat meat anymore. And then I've been sticking with it. So that's good because I don't know. I just have a hard time sticking with things. And
That's awesome.
I've really been focusing a lot on doing YouTube. So if you are a writer, then you might like my channel. It's called Megan Ashley Writes. I've been doing live sprints for writing and reading every week, and that's been a lot of fun. It's really helping me to get my word count in. I'm also participating in Camp NaNoWriMo to write. I'm just trying to get into the habit of writing every day and finding the joy in writing again. So that's what I've been doing there. And then the other thing that's kind of funny is my partner and I, a few weeks ago, we were talking about our mismatched sex drives, which I know you have a page in the zine about that.
Mm-hmm.
And we were like, okay, it's getting bad. Like, I remember I talked about this last season that I changed medications to try to help it. And at first it did, but then it went back to how it's been. So my sex drive is just like extremely low. It's very, very hard for me to want to engage in any like sexual activities. And my partner's is very high.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were like, I feel bad. It's causing me guilt.
Yep.
She's frustrated sometimes by it and of course takes it a little bit personally. Like, is it about me? And I'm like, it's not. So we were like, hey, let's be polyamorous. And so I know, right? And we were like, okay, let's try it for a month and see how we feel about it. So the first thing we did, of course, is get dating apps. And we had a whole episode on this, how I was banned from Tinder.
Yes.
So I can't get a Tinder. So I got an OkCupid and she got Tinder. And we were like talking to people right away and stuff. And we were like, how do we feel about this and checking in? And then it lasted a day and we were like, we don't want to do this. And so we were polyamorous for one day. But, I mean, I don't know really what to do about my situation. So I was Googling things and I found out that it could be low testosterone.
It could be.
And so I don't know how you're going to feel about this as a sex coach, but I went to Amazon and I bought these testosterone booster pills.
I don't feel great about it.
And I've been taking them for a few days. And the only thing I've noticed so far is I have a lot more energy, almost to the point where I feel sick.
I want to hear. I want to know what's in them.
Yes, I'll have just I'll send you a picture of the ingredients.
Yes,
but
send me a picture of the ingredients.
And the other thing I've been considering is to stop my medication, which also bad idea. I probably won't. But I think I might have mentioned it might have happened before we took our break, but I had an evaluation by a psychiatrist who said she doesn't think I'm bipolar. She thinks that I've just experienced a lot of trauma and that oftentimes people can be misdiagnosed. Well, I was talking to my therapist about it, and she said it's very easy to think that you are not because you're medicated now. And so if you were, we talked about all the symptoms I had, and she said all of that is aligns with the DSM thing. And so she would say she can't say yes or no, but that it's very easy to want to stop your meds and to think that you're not bipolar when you've been on medication for a while. So I don't know. She also said, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, sorry. Please keep going.
We always do this. We're like, sorry. She said, but it's my body and it's my choice. So if I want to stop meds, I should have the right to try it and to just be careful, work with my psychiatrist, work with her and see. So I was like, well, I feel 50-50 on this now, you know?
Yeah. Well, if you ever need to talk to a sex coach about mismatched sex drives, I know somebody. But the other thing that I was going to say, that's just, I feel like because 100% it's your body and you need to make the choice that's best for you. A piece of information that I guess I kind of learned this year, but it makes sense, but I never really thought about, which I think can be helpful to keep in mind if you or anyone is thinking about specifically going off like psychiatric medications, whether that's like antidepressants or antipsychotics or mood stabilizers or benzos, is that going off of them is right afterwards. The reason they tell you to like taper off of things and the reason it can feel like a real like roller coaster is that when they're out of your system after having been in your system for a while, you are not at your baseline. So whatever you feel like when they're all out of your system is not like, quote, like the truer you or anything like that. It's actually your body has stopped making certain things, certain hormones. And, because it's been using this different process, like if you're taking an antidepressant, that's a serotonin reuptake inhibitor. So like this process has been going on. And so your body needs to take some time to remember how to like make these hormones and make these things on its own. So when you go off your meds, if that's a choice you're making, just remember that you may have some pretty extreme side effects because you're not just off the meds, but you're depleted from something your body's been used to.
Yeah, so I'm pretty scared about that.
Yeah, which is why I do recommend if anyone does go off meds, both from like a medical perspective and from like my personal experience, that you work really closely with a doctor to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but I'm sure I'll give updates on the podcast.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to do it before I come home to California next month, which I'm so excited about.
I'm so excited too.
I'm going to wait until I'm back home and, because I don't really have to leave the house or do anything at home. I work from home and everything's here. So I'm going to wait until I'm home and then consider it again.
I'm so excited that you're coming to visit. We should do a live event.
I know we should. I was thinking about that today in the shower where I do all my best thinking.
Oh my God.
I was like, we should do something.
If nothing else, we should at least record a mini episode from the same space.
Yes.
So we'll definitely do our podcast planning when we're not talking to you all. But we are super excited for this season. We have some really awesome guests coming up. We have some fun ideas. We will, of course, bring back we watch 3 movies and then talk about how we love or hated them episode. My kiddo is going to be a guest, which is something that was their idea. And I am super excited.
I'm so excited too.
So yeah, so there's some fun stuff going on. But for today, since we're making this just a Lee and Megan day, we love questions. I found a card game, just a kind of like a conversational topics game, but that's specifically called okay, so if you've seen this word, it's kind of gotten big in the last few years. It's spelled Hygge. And it is a Danish word that basically like roughly translates to coziness, but it is kind of inhabits like sort of pleasant, cozy, warm feelings. It is pronounced Hygge, which I only know because I looked it up just now.
Okay, so I was going to say, how do you say that?
I say Hygge in my mind, so I want to say Hygge, but it's Hygge. So we are going to read some things from the Hygge game. It's just a bunch of cards, and so each card has like 3 questions on it. So I'm just gonna some are yes and no and some are longer story cards. So I'm just gonna pull one out of nowhere and we'll just see what happens.
Okay.
Here you go. What would you like to be able to experience for the first time again?
NRE.
Yeah, sure. And for folks who don't know, that's new relationship energy.
It's the best feeling.
So that's that rush of all those good hormones and kind of that infatuation stage at the beginning of a crush or a relationship.
Yes, I love it. my favorite.
I love
what
that.
What about you?
You know what? It's so funny because the first thing that I thought of when I read it, and I hadn't looked at this ahead of time, is so similar because I was going to be like, oh, like the first time I kissed my girlfriend.
Yes. So much fun.
There is something, yeah, like I feel really lucky that I still have like those kind of butterfly feelings, but there's always something about the first time. So, yeah.
Yes, there's something so sweet and special. And yeah, just my partner and I, our first date was so amazing. And I would love to be able to do it again.
I love that. Okay, the other one on here is, are you a traditionalist or a risk taker?
I think I'm in the middle. Sometimes I'm one, sometimes I'm the other. What about you?
Honestly, same. Because like when I hear traditionalist, it sounds more like conservative. So I'm like, so my first thought is like, I'm a risk taker, but I'm also very not. Like I'm a very like domestic, responsible Cancer. And so I am with a Capricorn moon. So I am probably in a lot of ways more of a traditionalist. I'm just a progressive liberal, you know, traditionalist, if that's a thing. And what teacher had the greatest impact on you?
Well, she's actually someone I keep in touch with. Her name is Megan Harding. Okay. And she was at the time we still had this course. It was called SOS, Survival of the Singles. And she was also a history teacher. And I think in 2005 when I graduated, it was one of the last years they offered it. And it was like how to do a checkbook and how to do all these things that you need in life.
Oh, I love that.
And she was just so amazing and loving. And I was able to, I believe, tell her my story of being raped for the first time. That's the first time I ever said it to anybody. And so that just shows how much trust I had in this person. We kept in touch after, and she is the one who, when I had to move from from a house to an apartment after my mom died, she took my German Shepherd, which again, that's how much I trust her. I was like, I don't know, my dog is so used to having so much space, and I was really worried about it. And at the time I was still a teacher, so I'm not home like how I am now, where I could have managed it. I was like, my dog's, I know people do it, and I think it's fine for a lot of people, but it just gave me so much anxiety. And she had this loving home with children, and the dog loved her kids and was so happy and like went everywhere with them. And it was just amazing. And there was one more thing I wanted to say about her, but I can't remember. Oh, I saw her right after what happened to me and my mom. And I remember her saying like, oh, your smile hasn't faded. I'm so happy to see that. So,
oh, that's lovely.
Yeah. What about you?
You know, I feel like one thing that's always been sort of like missing from my life is like a mentor kind of person. So that's not really something I can think of. But I guess I would say that the teacher who was my English teacher, of course, in high school, because she was the one that was the teacher that was the head of the newspaper. So when I came out through the newspaper, she was the one I talked to first. And she was the one I asked if I could like bring my girlfriend to prom. So even though she never disclosed anything about her own sexuality, though I can make assumptions, she was super affirming at a time when like, I think having some like adult support was really necessary.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
And have you kept in touch or like found her on Facebook or anything?
I haven't. My high school is like the girls from my high school are very much like online and there's a Facebook group for my class and there's alumni stuff. But like I also went, like alumni stuff is always like asking for money and donations and all this stuff. And I went to a very like wealthy, primarily white, primarily upper middle class, like to upper class, like private school. And so I'm just offended by them asking anyone for money because they're fine. So I kind of have separated myself from that. And she had a really, really common name. Like her name is Miss Wilson. And so she wouldn't be easy to find, but, yeah, maybe I'll look for her.
Yeah, I love that. It's fun. I've like looked for all my teachers, even my first grade teacher.
I don't remember a lot of names. So I haven't done that, but I have a hard time remembering like names from the past.
Fun fact about my school. So I was like not really involved in school. I would ditch a lot, but after, and I went to a school in Long Beach, and after we graduated, I stayed in touch with a few people, but when it came time to do our 10-year reunion, I was very involved. I helped plan it, and I felt like so proud of myself for being so involved. And then when it came time for the 15-year, me and the person who did it together, we started talking again, and I looked at her Facebook, and she had made a really transphobic comment.
Ew.
And I commented back that it was transphobic, and I don't remember what else I said, but she got into like such a huge argument with me over it and said, I am not homophobic. I have so many gay friends. Ugh. And I was like, well, this is, it's not the same, blah, blah, blah. And so she like, I won't plan any more reunions with her. I'm not going to any more reunions. Like it totally ruined everything like that for me. And
I think I remember this.
Yes. And I think I asked you because I was like, am I wrong here?
No.
Because I'm, it was hard for me to like hear someone who's kind of like arguing and fighting with me back. And I'm like, how is this so hard to see?
Yeah.
So anyways, that's just a random story, but kind of sad because I probably would have kept in touch and like wanted to do more stuff with my class. But anyways.
Well, and they're also, I mean, obviously you don't live in California anymore, but like it was close by for you. All my stuff is back in the Midwest. So I don't, and also I just don't want to. So I haven't gone back, but like this year is, okay, so I graduated a year after like my college class would have because I transferred schools twice. But like the class that, that I started with, this is our 20-year college reunion year.
Oh, wow.
I know, which just, I don't know if anyone's doing anything. And I do like a lot of those people, but I also feel like what I would really prefer is if that like, because I don't stay in touch with people that much, but I have stayed in touch with some college friends. What I'd really prefer is if like one of the ones that I really like got married so that I could go see like the handful of people from college that I am still in touch with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you like to do some more of these?
Yeah.
These are cute, right?
Yes. It's a game that you bought?
Well, it says game. It's not really a game. It's just conversation topics. But yeah, it says cozy conversation in pleasant company.
Oh, I love that.
I know. And like, I'm going to do a not sponsored shout out to, there's a site called Uncommon Goods, which is, it has an Etsy feel. It is all by like makers, but it's a little more curated. And like, I still use Amazon a whole lot because it's fast and whatever, for lots of reasons. And I think, corporate responsibility is a bigger issue than individual responsibility when it comes to waste and the environment. But I have been trying to divest from Amazon in some ways. So Uncommon Goods, like for like something like $15 or $20 a year, you get free shipping. And so I was just like, you know what, this is a perfect place to buy all my gifts. So I paid that and I've been getting all my gifts from there because it's varied enough and there's enough to choose from. So that's where I found this too.
I'll have to check it out. I just wrote it down. I am being a good co-host this year and writing notes as we talk so that we can come up with our titles and our descriptions easier.
That's great. I'm not.
It's okay. Only one of us has to do it.
But I could. And also when you were talking about what you've been up to, I just wanted to say too that like, anyone who's not following Megan on all the things, please do, because like you put out like an impressive amount of content and I know how much work that is and I think it's awesome. I see you.
Oh, thank you.
Of course.
I got this cute little microphone and I've been doing like TikToks and Reels and Rizzles.
Oh my
So
goodness.
I'm like all over the place, always doing so many things. I have 100 tabs open at all times.
No, I love it.
Love Queers Next Door, but wish you could listen to Lee and Megan more than twice a month? Want to support queer media makers? Join our Patreon for as little as $1 a month and get a piece of personalized mail, as well as immediate access to bonus content like Queer Cuts, our live stream mini episodes. Visit supportqnd.com and sign up today. Cheers, queers!
Okay, I'm going to move the cards around and you say stop, and then that's when I'll pick a card.
Okay. Da-na-na-na. Stop.
What is something you learned in school that you've never had any use for in the real world?
Algebra?
Yeah,
And I was horrible at it.
Same. Honestly, yeah. Like, obviously, there's a place for math, but I haven't used much math either. I'm much more likely to use like basic functions like in Excel or like in Google Docs, basically. But other than that, and like the kind of like math you use for like budgeting or for making change, that's about it. That's about all the math I use.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm the same. Also, most of the history that I learned in school was very like Eurocentric colonizer history. So not only have I not used it, but I think it's kind of harmful that that's how most of us were taught, especially in the United States, were taught history. So boo.
Yes, but good thing I don't remember any of it.
I mean, right? Same. Should advertising to children be prohibited?
I don't know. That's a hard one.
Yeah.
Yes, I guess. I mean, I think a lot of advertising can be harmful.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess yes, but I'm not like firm in that position.
Yeah. I mean, I think of like advertising from when we were kids,
Mm-hmm.
but like I don't have cable. I don't have regular TV. So like my kid doesn't see a lot of ads. Like when we're watching like movies or TV shows, and I don't get magazines, and so I would say most of the advertising they're getting is more that like they play video games, and so the video games advertise, more things to buy on the game, and also, like, they follow YouTubers, so sometimes the YouTubers will sell their merchandise, but, like, I think they should be allowed to do that.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, for a kid who's, like, very, like, ooh, I want this, when most of their purchases are, like, micro, like, transactions, like $1 here, $2 here, like, on a video game, where it's not stuff that I have to have at the house, I don't mind that.
Yeah. True.
Yeah. Have you ever said I love you without meaning it?
Yes. What about you?
I have. I mean, I think it's more that I've said it without meaning it in the same way that the person who said it to me maybe meant it.
Mm-hmm.
There's always been some truth to it. I don't say I love you to someone I have no love for.
Yeah.
So in that case, I would say no. But sometimes maybe our definitions of love were not exactly the same.
Yeah, I think that's the same for me.
What item on your long-term to-do list do you never seem to get to?
I have a huge to-do list in front of me, so let's see.
Same.
It used to be writing, but now that I'm doing Camp NaNoWriMo, and that's been really helpful. So I guess writing my book is what's never gets done. I do write, but not my book.
Yeah. That's literally also mine, which is writing a book. Because I do think I'm addressing more things on my list and doing more of the things that I want to do. I think a lot of this is that basically anything that doesn't have a direct deadline and that I'm not accountable to anyone but myself, those are the things that get pushed. So that's where writing goes, is it just gets pushed. And it's the same as when I tell clients that, like, if sex isn't on your to-do list, it will not be prioritized. Because, like, Americans especially, we don't prioritize things that aren't on our to-do lists.
Mm-hmm.
And this is probably true for writing, too, which is I do house stuff and kid stuff and multiple job stuff first. And then there's not time. Okay. Are you glad to be living in the modern day and age, or do you wish you'd lived during a past era?
I used to think like, oh, it would be so fun to live in this time or this time, but I am glad to be here now because being queer and all that, I feel like it was only harder then.
Yup.
So I am thankful to be alive now. What about you?
Same. As a queer womanish person,
Mm-hmm.
I just, there's no time when it would have been better. So, like, time travel would be cool to experience little bits and pieces of different times, but I don't wish I had lived during a different time.
Yeah.
If there were suddenly 28 hours in a day, how would you spend the extra hours?
Reading or watching TV?
Nice.
Because that's something I have to put on my to-do list to get done, and I want to, it's fun, and plus I want to see, like, the things that are trending, and everyone's talking about certain things. And I think I would love to watch things, but I just don't have time.
Yeah.
What about you?
So the first thing I thought was sleeping.
That was my first thought too, but then I changed my answer.
But it's almost like I would spend that time sleeping so that I could get that extra 4 hours
Mm-hmm.
to do other things, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I would actually, like, sleep that much more, but I don't know. But I can't think of, like, what I would do except just have more time to do all the things.
Yep.
Reading is a good one, though. I don't find time for reading, and I do enjoy it. So that's definitely a good one. Or, like, I don't know. Can these 4 extra hours be not during sunlight? Because I'd be super into that.
Yeah.
I'm feeling oppressed by the sun this year, in a way that just, like, is just the worst. I bought myself a personal air conditioner to wear around my neck.
I love it. Please
I know.
send me a picture of you.
It's not
wearing
here
that.
yet, but I will, and it's going to be stupid, and I don't care. I looked up one of those, like, personal cooling bracelet things, the Ember Wave, because they advertise it on all my podcasts. And I was like, all right, I need this thing. And it's like $300. And so I was like, okay, I do not need this thing. And I mentioned this to my therapist, and she was like, oh, have you seen the one that, like, goes around your neck? And I was like, oh, yeah, you mentioned something that, like, blows air. She's like, no, I saw this new one that's like an air conditioner. And she told me about it. And I was like, I'm looking it up. If it's less than $300, I'm getting it. Mm-hmm. And it was only $50. So
wow.
It is on its way here.
That's incredible.
It's my birthday month, so I'm treating myself. Also, this is another, like, small life thing, but it's very exciting. So I don't remember when this happened. This happened during when we were still recording, but I got in a car accident several months ago. And it sucked, and the guy ran a red light and hit me, and it was scary, and it totaled my fucking car, and then he did not take responsibility, and my insurance company was good, and they didn't put me at fault, but they also, couldn't put him at fault either. Mm-hmm. And I had to pay out of pocket for a rental car, but everything else, like, my insurance covered. But this wonderful woman who works for the other guy's insurance, I guess, took on the case and realized some things hadn't been, like, finished yet. Mm-hmm. And she, like, found my phone number, got in touch with me, said that he is accepting responsibility. He does admit that he ran the red light.
What?
I am getting reimbursement for any out-of-pocket expenses, which means, like, I borrowed money from my mom to pay for the rental car, so now I can pay her back in full, which is great. And then she was like, she had also mentioned something on the message about any kind of injury, and I was like, I mean, yeah, I had back and neck stuff. And I went I've been going to physical therapy, and like I went to acupuncture once. And she was like, okay. And I was like, but you know what? I mean, my insurance paid for my acupuncture. It's covered. Or not my acupuncture, sorry, my physical therapy is covered. And she was like, okay, well, did you make like an accident claim or anything? And I was like, no, I just said I got in a car accident. And she was like, okay, well, those appointments, like, if you pay out of pocket are usually about $100 each. And you said you had 12, so I can give you $2,000.
What?
I was like, okay. And like, obviously I have to agree, like, not to sue the guy or anything,
Mm-hmm.
but I was never going to because you can't, I don't think you could have proved, if he didn't take responsibility, I don't think you could prove it, even though like it was pretty clear, just because there were no cameras and no witnesses. But I thought this was done and I'd like made my peace with it. But like the combination of one, just like, and especially because I've been talking about abuse, just not feeling gaslit anymore by like this very clear situation where like this guy got out of the car and was like, I'm sorry, I ran the red light. And then he was like, I didn't run the red light. She did.
Oh my gosh.
So the fact that, and listen, I don't think it's like out of the kindness of his heart. I'm sure he was scared I was going to sue him, but I don't care why. So one, he told the truth, but the other is like, and I definitely should have gotten the rental money back because that just isn't covered in my insurance. But like, I had no idea that I could get an injury claim without even having to pay anything out of pocket.
Yeah.
So I got $2,000.
That's amazing.
Thank you. So that's another update.
I'm so happy. That was so nice of that person to do that.
And also just like, God bless this woman who like clearly like did some extra work.
Yeah.
And that was really cool. And so thank you, woman. I don't know how we got there, but that's where we went.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. It's always good when you get something nice happens, right?
Yeah. Would you like to do one more card before we go?
Yes.
Fantastic. I'm gonna put them all in a pile and okay, you say stop.
Okay. And stop.
Oh, this is cute. What outfit or accessories that you had in the past did you think was the coolest ever?
Those clear wedge sandal things. I thought those were the coolest. I used to wear them with basketball shorts. It was quite a look.
Oh my goodness, that is a look.
And what else? Probably like butterfly clips. I was super into that. Which I think, aren't they making a comeback? I've seen people wearing them.
Oh, maybe. That makes sense. Everything makes a comeback.
And now I think what's the coolest accessories that I'm super excited about are my Crocs and the little things that go on the Crocs. I forget what they're called, but it's something. Yeah, totally. People love or hate Crocs, so I just had to mention that even though that wasn't part of the question.
No, it's great.
I got my Pride Crocs this year.
I know. It was so hard for me not to buy them. They're expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, I mean, one thing is I used to have like the Doc Marten Mary Janes, and that's what I wore to school. I took my kid into the Doc Marten store, and I was like, I used to wear these in high school. And they were like, give me a break. And so that was cool. And
that's still cool.
It is still cool.
Right? Yay.
Yeah, it's still totally cool. But when I was in 7th grade, I started at a public school after having gone to Catholic school with a uniform. Or not a uniform at this particular school. It was a dress code, but it was like no jeans, it was similar to a uniform. And so when I started 7th grade, I was like, what am I going to wear since I can wear anything? So I used to wear, and I don't know if I wore this once or multiple times, but I can remember very clearly. So I used to wear Adidas, like Samba shoes, like the soccer shoes. So I would wear those with socks of my dad's. So like our work socks, like Argyle socks or something, or striped socks. And then I would wear like a kind of short skirt that either black or denim. I want to say black. and then like a white button-up shirt, just
Uh-huh.
like, and then one of my dad's vests from like old 3-piece suits,
Oh, wow.
which is super cool and super gay.
Yes. See, you have super cool, super gay things. I have just
Yeah.
weird stuff.
I mean, then it went all over the place. And for a long time, I only bought things from like the Gap, you know, and wore like cardigan sweaters. So I've been through a lot of different changes. But I think that one is the coolest because I was so young.
Uh-huh.
So I just am like, oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
What do you consider to be your most productive time of the day?
Between 4 a.m. and 6 a.m.
Whoa. That's amazing.
Yeah. That's when my favorite time to get up, my favorite time to do things. I love it. It's quiet. The sun isn't out yet, and then you get to see it come out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when I do wake up that early, I have to take a lot of naps, but it's still
that's awesome.
one of my favorite times. What about you?
I would say mine's like really midday, like 11 to 4. You know, like I like to ease into my morning.
Mm-hmm.
But then I like to relax at night. So I really am like a midday kind of person.
Yeah.
And have you ever bought something that you were really embarrassed to buy? What was it?
This is a hard one. I can't think of stuff I was embarrassed to buy. No, I can't think of anything. I know there has to be something.
I like kind of can't either. I feel like I have no shame. Yeah, there's nothing that I've been embarrassed to buy. There are things that like I can look back on and be like, oh, that's not cool. But including some tattoos.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I definitely with my tattoos.
But in general, like no. And I mean there was a moment in like especially like several months into the pandemic where it was like it just felt like there was nothing to do except for buy things.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did have a little like, yikes, this is not a sensical, like to do something like I'm going to buy $100 shoes, even though I never wear shoes.
Yeah.
And I'm not going anywhere. And then when I do, I wear like shitty slides. So there's definitely stuff where I'm like, well, that was a questionable choice.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm too high to be shopping.
Remember when I was so high I couldn't function and we recorded Queer Cuts? That was fun.
Yes. And then you didn't tell me till afterwards, which is so funny. Oh, wait. But in telling that, I remembered there was a thing that I bought that was officially the dumbest thing. I was hanging out when I was in college with my friends. I'm sure we were very high, watching like infomercials.
Uh-huh.
And one came on for Nads. Do you remember Nads?
Yes.
Okay. So we watched the video for Nads and we were like, dude, we should just get this. And it was like, $40 or whatever, which is a lot of money also like 20 years ago.
Uh-huh.
And now, but it was like, if you order now, you get an extra one and blah, blah, blah. And it was like, let's split it and then we can all share it, which also is really stupid.
Uh-huh.
So we ordered Nads. For those who don't know, it's a like non-heated, like wax type removal system. So it's basically gunk that you put on a place where you'd like to remove hair that feels like honey. And then you put some little fabric strips over it, press down and yank. So it's like doing home waxing.
I've totally done that before. I think my mom got it and I used it.
Okay, it didn't work. And of course, because we were like 20 something or like late teen stoners, nobody returned it on time.
Yeah.
So we spent, whatever amount of money just to be like, I tried it once on like my hairy leg and got like 4 hairs off. So that, yes.
So that happened.
All right. Well, welcome to season 4. The other day I did something and I was mentioning that we were about to start and I said season 3. I totally forgot it was season 4 until I saw your post today.
I can't believe it. It's season 4. We've been doing this for so long.
I know. So that's super cool. I like that we continue to do this. It makes me happy and hopefully folks are still enjoying it. One more thing. We have some merch.
Oh,
we
yes.
are going to be making some more merch. But for right now, my friend Sarah, friend of the pod, who I told you was the one that worked on Queer Love zine with me, has a little shop on Bonfire with a few t-shirts that she designed. So I've added 2 Queers Next Door shirts to that shop. And if you go to our Instagram and click on the link tree, you can follow to buy merch. So right now there are 2 t-shirts in a variety of colors and styles. One is a "What are you doing to take care of yourself?" shirt. And the other is the Queers Next Door logo, except instead of saying Queers Next Door, it says "Fuck the Police." Because when we were first talking about this, I just had a vision of, I really want that to be a shirt. And because I was in the habit of saying "Fuck the Police" at the end of our episodes, which I'd like to bring back. Fuck the police. Especially when there was, there always has been, but especially when there was like very highly publicized police brutality. So for that one, we're not taking any of the proceeds. The proceeds go to Critical Resistance, which is an organization working to dismantle the prison industrial complex. So follow our link to the store on Bonfire and, rep your Queers Next Door merchandise. Also on the back of each of them is our little logo with our faces. And who hasn't always wanted to wear a t-shirt with our faces on it?
Yes, so if you're in the mood to spend money today after this, you can do several things. You could buy Lee and Sarah's zine, and you could buy our merch, or you could buy a box from Official Boy Box. See, we do it all.
And you can join the Patreon.
Yes.
For
$1.
It sounds like a lot, but for probably, let's see, for less than $100, you could do all of those things.
And support some of your favorite queers.
Yes, and obviously, well, maybe not obviously, but Sarah's also queer, and obviously Megan's partner is also queer, so that's
just
the obvious.
A little bit.
Just a little bit queer. So yeah, that would be amazing. And a reminder too that on our Instagram, every month we post a community care, mutual aid, reparations type post for our Black, trans, and queer followers to put their Venmo or Cash App, and for non-Black folks to redistribute their wealth. So every month people post, and I hope that folks are feeling like being generous there.
Nice.
So, we post a new one every month, but they're in the regular feed. So older ones are still there. There's one for July. So, hop on there.
Yeah, you just reminded me that I have to go do that. So I'm going to do that after this.
Amazing.
Yes. So I guess that's it for our first episode.
That is. We're thrilled to be back. We will record again in 2 weeks, and we're going to be on a regular, every 2 weeks release schedule. So,
yay. All right. Well.
All right. Cheers, queers. Fuck the police.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Thanks for listening to Queers Next Door. We hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to follow, subscribe, and leave a review wherever you listen to your podcasts.
If you like what we're doing, join the Queers Next Door fan club at patreon.com/queersnextdoor to receive all of our exclusive content. And we'll mail you a fun little surprise. You can find the link on our blog, queersnextdoor.com. Cheers, queers!